until you do.
Right. Yeah.
And it can happen to anybody. I'm a matchmaker. Okay? I mean, but the thing is the more empathetic you are, the more understanding. Those kind of people, once you understand it's not love and it's calculated and they're con artists, you can understand anybody can be played in that situation. Even we had a psychotherapist, Jen Reeves, on yesterday as well, and she was also saying how she's also attracted the narcissist type. So it's very common. So I think this is a great week to talk about this because we've been talking about, the divorce rate. The divorce request has doubled during quarantine. I mean, it's crazy how many people are like, I hate you, goodbye. It's like, did you ever love me? No. I love the person I thought you were,
Not until I had to be with you 24/7.
Yeah,
all day, every day.
Yeah. I thought it was so interesting how Will and Jada Smith even said, like, we've been together 20 years, and it's like, I didn't even know you till quarantine. I'm like, how are you with somebody 20 years and you don't know them,
Yeah.
But if we don't have that autonomy and that ability to have our own time, it can really be stressful. But I'm super excited. Welcome to Women's Wednesday.
Thank you.
This is all about spotlighting phenomenal women in the city that are doing it big and reaching back specifically and helping other ladies too. So I'd love to hear more about it and kind of like how you got started and everything that brought you to this point.
Okay. It was a long process, as many people wouldn't say. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You have to get to a point to where you can even talk about tragedy, and so many people go through tragedy. You're sitting next to somebody every day that has been through something. Their kids have been through something. Their family, anybody. And it's not so much that I want to focus on what happened to anybody. It's more or less the solution that comes out of it.
Amen.
You can bring yourself out. You can overcome the judgment or people not believing or just the shame that you feel of yourself or not being able to stop something that you had no clue that was happening.
Yeah.
And it empowers you whenever you get to a point to be able to say, I'm not what this says I am, or the victim status. I'm a survivor.
Exactly.
And that's what, there are so many women out here, and children, I want to specify the most, because they grow up to be women, and they've had to hold into a lot of things in their childhood that they couldn't even express to people.
Exactly.
And so as empowering people or women or anyone that can help you, we're supposed to help them grow up to not live this life that I'm a victim.
Exactly.
I'm a survivor.
And so many people that go through this type of circumstance, they have to deal with, of course, harboring the other side of the fence. So if you're a predator, are you going to be honest about what you did?
No.
Are you honestly going to say, if you molested a child or you hurt a woman, are you really going to admit to it? No. And so they're manipulators, and they lie, and they'll look you straight in the eye, and they'll deny it
every time
to the core.
Of course.
And so people believe them. And then you really think that someone's that sick that they would make something like that up?
Right.
So you're fighting against the grain to get to safety.
Well, they always, you see that a lot. The victims become victimized again, especially in rape cases. Like, what were you wearing?
Right.
You must have asked for it. You must have deserved it.
No, that's not the case. There's so many people that are victimized, and they don't even know it.
I think that you just bringing it to the forefront and speaking on it, that it exists and it's out there, is a big deal in itself, because so many people don't want to talk about it.
No.
And they hide behind all these emotions of everything, and they carry it with them through the rest of their life. So the fact that you're bringing it out and acknowledging it'll bring more people to the forefront of wanting to share their experience, and not that it's okay for that experience to happen,
right?
But it just brings it to the forefront. Okay, I accept what has taken place and moving forward and overcoming that.
Exactly. It gives you a voice. It's your inner voice that you just have to get out. And with support, like Safe Alliance, they do everything. They take in infants, they take in teenage moms. They just take in anybody to help them be able to be somebody in the future and not hold on to what has happened to me, because in all reality, everyone has a story of some sort, whether it's domestic abuse or rape or sexual assault or just anything else.
Harassment.
I mean, even boys and men. I mean, there are so many. Everyone's victimized. It's not just a woman thing. I mean, everyone is victimized, and I think it's harder for even if men go through things like that, or young teenagers, because then they're really judged in their mind.
Yeah.
And
you let a woman beat on you?
Yeah. Or you let someone take advantage of you sexually. Like, how could you? You're a boy.
To not repeat it.
It's just how society's made us feel like we have to live like we're in this shell because, oh my God, something happened to us. No.
Yeah.
No. And for the children out there that have had this happen to them, we need people that have a voice to let them know.
Yes.
No. You will be somebody because you are somebody.
That's
right.
Right.
You know?
That's right. And I'm so proud of you because you're going to step out on a platform where your daughters are going to see a strong woman coming forward and turning your pain into purpose.
Amen.
And that's so, so important for your daughters.
Yes.
And I've been friends with Brooke for a long time. I've been blessed to know her.
Same.
And I've seen what she's gone through. And with the court system and the custody and just everything, it's an absolute excruciating experience.
It's a scary thing.
I think that it weighs on you not only emotionally but every part of your being and stuff, because it's so draining just to have to. There's so many aspects and different levels of it.
I think fear is the biggest thing you have to overcome.
Yeah. When you say fear, is it fear of being judged by others once they hear your
fear
story?
for your life to leave.
Not so much
That's
judgment. I don't think that's me. You can judge me. That's fine.
Can't pay your bills with your opinions.
More or less, my children, and any child that has a story to tell, and them not be believed, or just somebody try to twist it. And that's the scariest part of it. But we've overcame those things, and we have a great life. And I'm going to give that all to God, because without my faith, it wouldn't have happened. And
Amen.
He has made everything possible for us through tragedy. I mean, that's
I got chills when you said that. So,
but it is my story. That is my story. It might not be somebody else's story, but for me, personally, and my children, because those girls know the man upstairs, and that's who we go to, and that's what's helped us get over fear and shame, or am I going to overcome?
Yeah.
You know, and that you do, I mean, whatever your religion is, I mean, it is inside you too.
Right.
It's not just based on that. So overcoming those things, I think, are the hardest.
It is hard, and just getting out there and just getting past the shame. I wrote a book 5 years ago, and I really just now started promoting it.
Oh, wow.
I've uploaded it to Amazon, took it right back down.
Why did you do that? What made you?
The book was called How My Kitty Betrayed Me.
Okay.
And it was about how I grew up, my parents were divorced 3 times, and it made me have abandonment issues and codependent.
Yeah.
And my language of love is touch. And so when your language of love is touch, and you're on the forefront of the women's lib movement in the 90s, and if y'all can have casual sex, we can too.
Yeah.
You let that's the thing I'm trying to tell women today. It's like, dude, love and lust look so much alike. They feel like so much alike, but having casual sex will betray you, because then you'll get addicted to the sex, and you won't find out who the man is until it's too late, and that's how you wind up in these kind of relationships.
Right. And it's a scary spiral.
It is, and even like my mom, married and divorced 3 times, was also the original matchmaker in our family. She matched and married all her friends to their husbands. So we have this crazy gift of discernment. But those that don't do it, coach, that sort of thing. But you don't know what you don't know. And my mom grew up as an orphan, and she didn't really have anybody to teach her, like, this is healthy, this is not healthy, this is what you do. And so she learned the hard way. And then as children of an orphan, we learned the hard way. And then, so now it's like, once you get to a point, but I was like you, my daughter's now 25, she's married, I think she's in a good place, but that was because when she was in 9th grade, I wrote the book, and I started writing it, and I was like, okay, this healing from it. She was like,
Yeah.
Mom, just write it down, you know,
Yes.
because I was having suspicions about this guy I was seeing, and she's like, just write it down. And
Right.
I literally sat down that night, wrote the 23 pages in one night. Just getting it. You don't realize how much is in you.
Yeah,
It
just
very
get it
much
out.
is.
Get it out, write it out. Even if you write it out and you burn it,
Yeah,
like just
get
get
it
it out.
Right.
You know, and that's one of the things we were talking about yesterday is how do we heal from a narcissist relationship? How do we heal from abuse? How do we heal from these things? Because you don't really realize that how much like PTSD you can get from trying to leave these kind of trauma bonds, because that's exactly what it is. You
Right.
form a bond with your abuser.
Right.
And that's the psychology of the narcissist relationship, is they're love bombing you so hardcore in the beginning. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're perfect. Let's do
Right.
it, you know. And then by the
Then
time
they
you figure out
slide
they're
it on back and
Satan,
ignore you.
then they
Then you feel rejected.
That's gaslighting.
yeah, they take it
Yes.
away, they give it back, you know. And so you're always on this hunt for that same feeling that you
Right.
had in the beginning, but it was all, and that's what I was telling the we were talking about yesterday, was that was the hardest part for me, was coming to that realization, because most of the time when you're in that narcissist relationship, they'll go from you and then they'll all of a sudden they're in this happy, loving relationship all over again. You're like, what? I'm over here like trying to pick up the pieces and you're already in love
Yeah.
again. And you have to really get to that point where, to get over that, you have to really get to that point where you realize it was all a con. None of it was real.
Right.
Like, because you're sitting there longing for, like, you're still, that trauma bond will make you still long for that good. It wasn't all bad. You know, people say it wasn't all
Yeah,
bad.
try to make excuses for it.
Yeah, and it's not that it's all bad. It's all fake. I mean, that's the difference.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good if you guys are dealing with any kind of domestic violence situation going on right now. I know the domestic violence rate has really gone through the roof right now. We're hearing all kinds of reports with that. And if you need a resource, please contact us. Contact the show. Contact any of one of us. We will be happy to point you in the right direction. You're not alone. If you don't know if you're in a toxic relationship, or you need help escaping one, or whatever you need help with, call us on the hotline today. You can remain completely anonymous, or you can DM us after the show, whatever you feel comfortable with. The hotline is open, 281-587-1540. We will take your call. We'll be glad to help you today. And so I think it really is just about reaching back, because one of the things that was so scary was when you do finally decide to leave, you feel like it takes all the courage and all the strength and everything you can possess in you to get out of that situation. So you need to make sure that when you do, you have everything lined up. And it's ready to go. There can be no mistakes. Like, you have to be prepared for this. And people that have never been in it
They don't
can
understand
never.
that.
Why don't you just leave?
And they don't get it.
Tell them to step off. Why
Yeah.
don't you just tell them to go to hell?
And it's
Well,
never
because
too
you take
late
me
to
with them.
heal.
I think
It's
there's
never
another
too
side
late.
of that, though, as far as, yes, we're talking about, grown-ups and stuff, but also what about the girls in high school and the middle school,
Yes.
because they get with these boys. And I've personally experienced it at a young age, as far as with somebody who was very possessive and controlling and would put his hands on me and stuff. And I stayed in it for 4 or 5 years early on, one of my first boyfriends and
Yeah.
stuff. And after getting out and years later, you do a lot of healing. What's the
You
problem?
really
What's the issues?
do.
Why are you
Right.
drawing these kind of people towards you, or this kind of personality? It's hard to, because you're in a spiral, and it's just over and over. But I think even more so for the girls in middle school. It sounds crazy because
They're vulnerable.
It starts young.
it does start young. That's where I'm going with it.
And
It does start
they
young.
say the 9th grade, the rape and domestic violence cases in colleges are just astronomical. You wouldn't
Believe it.
believe.
Yeah.
It's
And you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. And I mean, you're so mind tripped out that you're even going through it. Like, you don't have time to process it, to like think. And you're
Right.
like, and then especially if you have kids, or you're just trying to keep things going. And then yesterday, Tiffany, our guest, was saying, she's like, I felt like I was doing the right thing, like keeping my family together and staying and trying to do it, But it's better for the children not to grow
Yes,
up in
they
that
don't
kind
need
of
that
violence.
kind of vibration around them all the time. It's such a
No.
terrible energy to be raised in,
Right.
It's going to cause major trauma for those kids.
We wonder why the kids are in pain. And that's why with, Meridate, I'm launching Meridate this year, and it's really about curing the divorce rate. I'm launching a private social club just for couples, and it's called Meridate, and we're going to cure the divorce rate. And I feel like God's showing me how to do it, because we need to careful who we hang out with. Our
Yes.
friends, like, is so important.
That's right.
It is true.
And but the kids, when you think of the kids, 70% of kids that come from single parent homes wind up in jail, dead, drugs, depressed. Look at the kids shooting up the schools. I mean,
so sad.
what does it take before we start having this conversation? Because as women, we went into the workplace and we want everything equal to men, but what we didn't calculate was the kids, and
That's right.
that is that's the high price.
We
It
stay
is.
so busy with our careers and everything that we got to remember that there's still parenting that has to be involved. You can't just keep dropping them off at practice and not paying attention to
Yeah.
what's going on in your children's lives. You have to have dialogue.
Yeah, and the video games are babysitting the kids, and you wonder why a
Yeah.
predator can get to them
So
because they're
bad.
talking to them on the video game.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes, you have to have boundaries. I mean,
Yes.
my children know there's no pictures of you. Your name isn't even on there. Like, you have to
Good.
protect.
Yes.
And just to add to the single parent, because it's so hard to be a single
It
parent for
is.
men and women. But society's made it even harder because some of us have to be single parents
Exactly.
because that's just what the cards were
That's
dealt.
right.
And it's 10 times harder. But when you can overcome all of that and you can be powerful with
Amen.
being a single parent,
Yes.
that's a rewarding thing all by itself.
Absolutely.
I feel like, I take great pride, like, because my daughter, I got pregnant with her in college, and her dad and I never got together after that.
Right.
I'd already left when I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, you know what, it's me and you against the world, kid.
Amen.
And now she's a college graduate. She's married. She's happy. She works. She works at Fox. She's an editor. She works here at the radio station too. But that's the thing. She's very successful, and she's so much smarter than I was at that age.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is we got to talk to our kids.
Yes.
We have to be. So many times as parents, we hide our stuff.
Reality.
And things we're going through. But the fact that I think that I was so probably maybe too open. We grew up together. I was so young when I had her, but we kind of grew up together.
Yeah.
And so she got to witness all my mistakes before I went on my self-love journey, before I went on my spiritual walk, before I healed. She witnessed all that. And I've apologized to her. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was very angry when I was young. I was, because I was not even going to have kids. And then her dad was like, let's have a baby. Because I was scared to bring kids into dysfunction of my family.
Right.
Not, I love children, but it's just,
It's like,
I was
don't want to
scared.
multiply.
it was weird. Yeah, I'm like, I know my family's crazy. I ain't gonna bring nobody into that. Like, I have one of those families you meet after we get married, okay? You don't even get invited to the wedding. So serious. I used to bring all my boyfriends around my family, and then I was like, nope, not doing that anymore. Nope, I learned the hard way. Nope. And that's the thing is, as women, we have to really be careful when we do meet somebody new, because you see all these crazy step parents abusing kids and hurting kids and stuff. I would
Step brothers.
It's a
Dude,
problem.
you'll have to lock me down.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I'm from the country. We don't call the police.
We
okay?
don't call the police.
But I just think I feel like if my daughter was able to defy the odds,
Right.
it was so hard.
It is.
And that's what I was trying to tell her. It's not that you can't be a single parent.
Right.
We've proven it.
Oh, yes.
Very, accomplished. But you beat the odds.
Exactly.
You were in the minority.
Exactly.
You beat the odds, and I'm just very blessed. And now looking back later, now that she's grown, I'm glad her dad wasn't around, to be honest with you.
I agree.
Well, I think those statistics are developed because of the type of the environment the kids continue to endure, because single parents just run off and have their career, and then the child feels left out and they're not getting the attention that they need. So the reason why your daughter is the way she is because you chose not to create that environment
Right.
for her. But probably 75 to 80% of the children, it's all the environment that's established
Yeah.
from that particular
That's
type
true.
of circumstance. So it's what you want it to be. I mean, I know you're a single mom. I can't see you're a single mom. Your daughter's ending up any other way other than successful, because you guys won't have it any other way.
That's right.
That's absolutely true.
Also Wednesday. Yes.
That's why they're the girls. No.
Exactly.
Oh, they know. Mine definitely know.
yeah.
Yes. I think my little one's going to be just like me, actually.
My daughter is a mini-me for sure. And here's the thing: is like that's what I want to talk about today too. Is like how important it is to pick your mate, because if you pick the wrong mate, we have to learn the difference between a real connection and a distraction.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what it is, because, and a lot of times, before you really get on that deep spiritual walk, everybody's in different places on that walk. And I'm like you, I think God has just been like so amazing.
Amen.
I used to have a joke with God. He would, during all this stuff before I wrote my book, he would say, Amber, when are you going to let me have this man thing that, you find the right man? I'm like, God, I'm a matchmaker. I got that. And he laughed at me. And then I cried a little more. But, that's the thing. It's like we try so hard to do it in our strength. We don't understand that, like, it's just such a spiritual thing. It really is.
Yeah.
And anything, if you really don't need God to do it, you're really not living your biggest life. You're,
That's right.
Expect miracles. Expect those
they're
mind-blowing
there.
things.
They are.
They really are. Miracles do
really-
exist. They're at His hand.
And it is amazing how many positive things have been manifested through this COVID and all this stuff that's going on.
Yes.
A lot of people are building their dreams and launching new businesses and getting
Yes.
out there. But the thing we want to stress really today is really about, it's so important who you let into your circle. And that is whether it's a friend, a man, your family.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to love people from afar.
Yeah.
It's all about energy, and it's about your mind is so powerful, and people don't even realize how powerful their mind is.
Yes.
Right.
And the universe does not know what you want. It only knows what you think about. People are like, why do I keep attracting all this yucky, bad stuff? What are you thinking about? And that's where you
Exactly.
got to ask yourself, what are you thinking about?
Starts in the
It
mind.
literally doesn't know. It's literally a law of attraction. Like, whatever you think, oh, that must be what you want. Okay, here you go. Here's some more.
Yeah.
And
a
that's
bad
it.
day doesn't have to be a bad life.
Yeah.
Very
You
true.
know, you can laugh at your setbacks
Yes.
and move forward. I mean, some setbacks maybe you don't want to laugh at if you didn't ask for it. It's terrible. But I'm just talking about, you thought something was going to be one way and it just didn't turn out that way. So
Right.
you just pick yourself up. You got to move on.
That's why I say
You
tell
know?
God your plan so he can laugh.
Yeah.
It's true.
You know?
So I want to go back a little bit on something
Yeah.
you said as far as having the conversations with your daughter at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And you felt like there may be more than that she probably needed to hear.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter's 12, and I have some real conversations with her
Mm-hmm.
about, harassment,
And- yeah.
people around her, even all the social media stuff that she's on with TikTok and all this other
All
stuff
of that.
people. I mean, if I
See,
was
I didn't
a-
have to deal with all that. I didn't have to deal
so
with
it's
social
even
media like
worse.
that.
So I
Yeah.
have these conversations,
It's worse.
and it's not that I just want her to be aware.
Right.
Look,
You have
I don't want her to hear it from someone else or to get all this information. She should be able to come to me first before,
Exactly.
or her dad for that, to be able to talk, right? And so if I put it out there on the table, okay, look, this is how people are, and I'm going to tell you, like, guys are weird, and not to say that guys aren't weird,
Yeah.
just guys, it's women too.
Right.
But if I was a predator, I'm going to go through an app where all these kids are, and they're
Exactly.
advertising themselves,
Yeah.
they're putting themselves out there, making themselves very vulnerable as far as what they're putting out there, that I'd be contacting you through that. So
Exactly.
she gets a little freaked out, and she's like, why do you say that?
But they
want
have
you
to.
I
They
want
have
you
to be
know.
freaked out,
Yes.
though.
Yes.
These kids have to be freaked out for the reality of what's in society. The kids that don't know are the victims.
And those are the ones
They
that
are.
are being like, the
Yeah.
parents are not saying
Gullible.
what needs to
They-
be said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're ashamed
They
to
need to
talk about
realize.
it. You have to talk about everything that can happen to a child from the time they can talk to you.
Yeah.
You have to tell them, so they tell you,
Yeah.
or they
That's
won't
not
tell
normal.
you.
That's not right. If anyone touches
Exactly.
you here,
See, that's-
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
even just so my daughter Melania, she was on TikTok or one of the apps or so when one of her friends was on there too, and they were sending videos and stuff. Well, a guy contacted her friend.
Oh my
right?
God.
And
So
I'm like,
silly.
and he said that he was a young boy. Come to find out, he was an older guy.
Yep.
And that right there just freaked me out because I already thinking, like, if I was a predator, how I would contact you, how I would do slide
Right.
in, or what I would do, I would portray to be someone else. Anyways, my whole point to that is that you gotta have those tough conversations, and you gotta be real about it. And it doesn't sometimes. I mean, it's not for every parent, and some people want to keep stuff on
They
that.
do.
And that's fine. But for myself, my daughter, hey, look, this is what you look out for.
Exactly.
Don't be posting your stuff, and don't go on there with short tops and all this other stuff, or booty shorts and all this stuff, because even though, hey, yeah, you're dressed like that, that's kind of the
Trends are wrong, but there's people out there that will portray that as she's asking for it, and that's the problem.
Yes.
Hey, here we go again.
Well, little girls
Exactly.
don't need. I mean, I really don't think anybody needs to be walking around with their butt hanging.
I
That's a
agree.
whole other story.
Unless he's
Especially
about
little girls.
6'5".
Are you on TikTok?
Not yet, but I will be right now. Hold on, let me sign up. But it's true, and I think I was a little more. I was raised by a Marine, so I was raised with a little bit more mental parenting. So for me, I'm more the parent that will show you what can happen to you.
Exactly.
And I'll take you to the prison, and I'll tell you this is where you're going to end up. I'm more of that kind of person because it's not going to happen, and you have to be super careful. And when my daughter, we got to take a quick break, but when my daughter was around 18. When you're 18, I'm independent.
Yeah.
You can't tell me nothing, Mom. I'm doing this. She's been modeling for years, and she got a call from some strange number.
Oh, no.
Oh, we want to send you to Chicago. We want you to model. You don't need to bring money. You don't even need to bring your phone. You don't need to bring anything. Just get on the plane and come. And
automatically I think trafficking. I think
Exactly
that's
what it was.
what's been programmed in my head, but that may not be necessarily, but that's what I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I had one of my PI friends look into it, and sure enough, it was all fake. The whole thing was fake. I'm like, you're not getting on the plane.
Yeah.
I'm one of those moms that I will have you kidnap myself. Okay.
You're growing them. That's how you groom them.
It is.
Groom them into
Trust.
building this whole lifestyle that will be anything a little girl would dream about. My daughter wants to do modeling. She wants, and
that's
I'm like,
where they go.
So
That's how they
scared
get
for
'em.
her because I was with Paige Parks and a couple of modeling when I was younger, and I know what that looks like. You know what I mean? I know
It's a scary industry.
It is.
you have to be so protective and watch over everything.
Everything.
And being a single mom, it can be exhausting at times.
It
I mean,
is.
her dad is very helpful in all aspects of her life and plays a major role, but it's still, you gotta.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Whether you have help or not.
Yeah.
Well, we can't really release the details yet, but Nicole and I have a new client who is used to be part of the human trafficking problem, and he's working with the city to create a solution to point out.
He was held accountable for his actions.
Yes.
He was incarcerated, and now he's turned his pain and his that was stupid into purpose. And so
Yeah.
he's created a charity to help all those women now. So
Oh, wow.
So we're super excited to announce that when that comes out. We got to take a quick break. We're having a blast here on the Matchmaker Hotline on Women's Wednesday. You guys are listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. We will be back in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
stay.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
各位观众 ，Edge Radio 是大家最好听的一个电台，不要忘记听哦。Yeah, I love Edge Radio. You can hear all about the topic and join us soon.
Edge is about being on the edge and not jumping. Yes.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. Been feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only showman? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker, Amber.
I'm going to say something. Hey guys, welcome back to Matchmaker Hotline, 101.7 FM Pasadena, 1540 AM South Houston Galveston. We are with the hostess with the mostest, Amber Neal. Nicole Giddens here, and Amber Mezzarano, our lifestyle expert. And today we have Brooke White.
Hey, Brooke.
Welcome back to the show. So what's next?
Nothing.
She's flashing this.
Whatever.
Oh, I can't wait to bring that out.
We're not going to bring that up.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
That's another
Jeez,
show.
that was so fun.
Okay, on to other topics. Okay, so let's talk about why you attract wounded partners. I mean, that's super important because we want to back up from, getting to that point of dealing with abuse and a toxic relationship. But let's talk about why you attract those people. And the biggest thing that the hardest part, I guess, for a lot of women to really identify with is what in us we had to heal or fix before we could understand that played a role. And that goes back to the energy we're talking about. But number one is you haven't healed the wounded parts of yourself. Mm-hmm. Even sex therapist Jen yesterday, when we were talking about it, was saying how it has so much to do with your inner child. If you grew up with a parent that was narcissist or controlling or abusive, that you're probably going to wind up with that same kind of partner. Mm-hmm. And I don't think my dad was abusive. My dad was a Marine and a drill sergeant, and he didn't know we were girls. We were definitely soldiers, and he was rough. I mean, he was. But I'm so grateful now. I'm so grateful, But I think that's what made me kind of attract those kind of men that were super controlling and so it's okay to have some control. But here's the crazy part that a lot of women, and I never even thought about it really honestly until Oscar said it, about how there's a blueprint. There's no right or wrong way to love, right? Everybody loves different and approaches different. But what was so interesting was, as a woman, one of our most basic needs when it comes to a relationship is feeling wanted, right? And that emotion itself is what can trip us up and get into those controlling, abusive relationships, because the making us feel wanted is so extreme. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, where you going? And at first it's cute, and after a while you're like, okay, dude, chill. You need to back all the way off. But anyway, got some sexy ladies in the building.
That's up next. Going back to what you said about the inner child, though, I think that it's more than just looking at the circumstance and going, okay, well, this happened to me, and this is why I excuse that I was with this person. You really have to take yourself almost on a metaphysical journey where you look outside yourself and allow whatever barnacle is how I kind of envision it that attached itself to you, and really just peel it off of you, if it has to be layer by layer, and really dig in deep and understand that you're worth more than what happened.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yes. And that I think it takes the time to heal. And you have to give yourself some alone time.
Yeah, I know after my situation, I went on I was single for almost 2 years before I even considered a relationship again, and that is healthy.
Yes.
The healthy ones will heal.
Yes.
Yeah,
the toxic ones will be in another relationship and already in love in the next few minutes.
How did you know that you needed to heal, though? What was it?
Because that relationship traumatized me so bad that I surrendered. Mm-hmm. You do. You're just like, I surrender. I give it up. There's so much resistance there, and I just, one thing I'm very committed to being a soldier to is my calling for God's army.
I agree.
And so that is my number one commitment. So more than anything else, at the end of the day, it was that distraction, and I heard God's voice loud and clear.
Yeah.
He said, if you don't leave now, you're going to miss your calling to cure the divorce rate. You are born to shift the culture, and if you don't leave right now, you will miss it. And I'll be dang, it is so crazy. So that was the end of 18, 19 I healed, and I'll be dang if we're not going through all this stuff with the divorce rate, and my company is perfectly positioned to cure it now.
That's awesome.
What?
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
It's a billboard sign from God.
It's
a billboard sign.
Yes. And it just takes those little things, and I think after being abused and going through those kind of abandonment issues and things I went through in my inner child, I really had to look at, and not just healing. One of my favorite memes I ever saw was these little kids playing, and they're looking at the night sky, and they're on a swing set, and it says, "I always knew somebody would come rescue me when I was older. I just didn't know it'd be me."
Oh, I love that.
That right there,
that's perfect.
And that's what it was. And God had to really show me. And I think that's the thing about prayer is one thing, meditation is another. Mm-hmm. That's when you're hearing the answer. And God really had to show me. He's like, Amber, dude, your trust issues are so bad. He's like, he goes, how many miracles do I have to perform for you before you trust me?
I love that God calls you dude.
He does. He sees me before I shave my face. Hey, that birth I got the right birth control. I'm telling you, because if the birth control don't work, the 5 o'clock shadow will kill it. Okay, there is no danger there. I'm telling you some of the horrible side effects of birth control. I'm telling you. I know, I'm just messing with you. That's one of my favorite billboards, though, is "Are you hairy?" Like, I'm like, yes, somebody finally understands me. But that's the thing is, like, you have to God had to really, like, awaken me to that point of, like, you're not even trusting me. And I've already bailed you out of this, Right. And if you really look back and you do count your blessings, and that's the thing about manifesting, people don't really teach you. It's one thing to put it out there what you want and feel the emotion of it. It's another to let it go and let the outcome be okay. Whatever it is.
Believe you already have it. Though.
Believe you already have it. Feel that feeling. But let go of the need to have it. That is where the emotion, we get caught up and trapped in our emotions. We got to let it go and just trust, because how many times has God protected us?
Right.
How many times have no's been like, thank you, God, and you just looking back and you're like, thank you.
Yeah.
Dodged the bullet on that one.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing is, like, our ego is our own worst enemy.
It is.
And our ego is like our imaginary friend that helps us get through all these hard things and bullying and life and people's opinions of us. But it's counterproductive, to our spiritual walk. And at some point, you have to let your spirit or your ego lead, and that's going to dictate all the decisions you make. And I can tell you, the self-love journey is not for the weak. It is the hardest thing you will ever do. I went out there and I sat in the quiet for a year. I didn't watch TV. I did nothing. Like, I literally sat there, like, I was so, like, mentally, whew.
Were you at least at a retreat?
No, I was in my house chilling. Just chilling. I had a,
This is like, I didn't go to the desert. She did.
Got it.
She drove to Arizona.
I would move to Arizona.
Sounds like a biblical story.
Yeah. I was out in the desert with God. And he was doing miracles.
He was dude this, dude that.
He was like, dude, you got to get it together. And I'm like, okay, God, don't tell me.
He's like, dude, wash your hair.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm not. No. I'm like, I ain't shaving, I ain't washing my hair. It was like, I was like a caveman for like a year, and it was awesome. Not shaving your legs is awesome.
Oh my God.
Just going on your self-love journey, just to not shave your legs is worth it, okay?
Oh my God.
But seriously, it is the hardest thing you'll ever do. And once you're through it, you can look back and go, oh my God, that's why I attracted that guy. But that goes back to the con of it and understanding that it was all a con. It was all an act. They look at it and they can read it. They are trained from doing this over and over. Oh, she has birth issues. Oh, she's insecure. Oh, she needs me. You know what I mean? Like they
can pull those out. They can spot them from a mile away.
It's energy.
Yeah.
It's energy, and they can tell. And so, all right, let's get to the next tip here, because this week has really just turned out to be really great on this topic because we need to talk about it. If you're dealing with any kind of domestic violence situation, give us a call at the hotline. You can remain anonymous, or you can reach out to us after the show. We'll be glad to connect you with all kinds of resources. 281-587-1540. All right, so why you attract wounded partners? Number 2, you don't feel worthy of true love.
Because you don't love yourself. You can't find love if you don't love yourself.
It starts with yourself.
First. Yeah.
Even when it comes to business and success.
Yes.
How many times do people sabotage themselves because they truly just don't believe
that they can do it?
They can't handle the success of it. I think that's why the people that blow up overnight, fame wise, they kind of flip out sometimes.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people just can't process, like, wow, this is really.
Well, if you start succeeding, you get more haters too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that will start saying things about you or try to get in your way, and then that can be, that can be a hard thing to deal with.
I found, what I found out about haters? Haters are confused fans.
Yes.
Seriously, just like spell my name right, okay? Like if you're gonna talk about me, spell my name right.
Just make sure you put an E up front.
Seriously, that's it. Because at the end, even with my daughter, when she was young and modeling, and I told her, I'm like, you are going to get haters. I'm like, I gave Beyonce as an example. Beyonce could have 50 million likes on a video. She'll have 50,000 trolls going in and making comments. And I'm like, you got to understand right now from a young age, you can't please everybody.
Nope.
You're going to piss somebody off. You're going to alienate somebody, but speak your truth.
Yes.
And that comes from your spirit.
But eventually, when you get to a certain point of success, you stop. That stops.
You don't care
That
anymore.
starts fading out, and all those haters, and all the ones sitting on the sidelines,
They just
and
get used to it.
observing from the sidelines goes away because you become so focused and laser focused on what you're trying to do. I'm only speaking from experience, but I know friends that are like that. All that noise out here, that's all that is noise. Like, you keep doing you and you keep moving forward and focusing.
They don't sign a paycheck.
They don't. No. But I lived like that in my 20s, as far as worrying, people yapping.
And if people are talking about you, they don't have enough business of their own.
That's exactly what it boils down to.
Get some business.
Yeah. Seriously,
people talk
about
business.
ideas.
Just promote my
people
car
talk
with it.
about other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody say, if people that are above you won't talk about you, and people below you
very
can't.
true.
That's true.
And who cares what people think at the end of the day? I mean, seriously, everybody's gonna have an opinion, and you know what opinions are like.
Yes.
So, who cares? Who cares?
Let's get someone to call in.
I know, right?
So what they need to do?
281-587-1540. Call us.
Call us now.
We want to hear what you
Okay,
say.
so number 3, why you attract wounded partners. Number 3, you fear deep intimacy with another. I think after you have been wounded, you can get so close to right there and finding love, and it's like, nope. You have to heal. And people always think, I always used to think that was such a cliche myself, like, oh, you can't be in love until you love yourself. Dude, you can't.
You can't.
It's very true.
You really can't.
You'll
it is
attract
so
the
real.
way wrong people.
And you won't have the right boundaries. You know what I mean? And then number 4, this is a big one. This was really for me. You tolerate them not showing up fully.
You let it happen.
Yeah. It's just, I don't want no half-assed partner.
No.
I'm all the way in or all the way out. And if you just accept scraps, they don't call, they don't do, if they're not doing what you need them to do and you've expressed that, they don't want to.
Were you thinking like that in your 20s though?
Oh, yeah, girl. I used to compete. Like, I would love to compete. Like, I was like, oh, that's your man? Oh, let's fight for him. Oh, yeah. Wow. I was so toxic. Oh, my God. I was super toxic.
She's like, I was a terrible person.
I really was.
God
I
was
really
like,
was.
dude.
God's like, I'm gonna turn you into a dude. Seriously, I think my guardian angels hate me. You know what I mean? They're like,
they're sitting there like,
yeah.
It's good. I love that raw part about you because we've all got a few skeletons that come out of our closet.
Ooh, one just came out. Sorry.
Just hit me in the head. It's important to, it's progress, not perfection.
No one, here's the thing about it. The funny thing is, especially once you get in your 30s and 40s, if anyone judges you for how stupid you are in your 20s, like, get a clue. Everybody that's when we're learning ourselves. That's when we're fighting ourselves. That's when we're most likely not healed yet. We don't, unless you've had those parents that have been like so honest up front, then you can work through it. But man, I was pissed at the world in my 20s. My parents had been married and divorced 3 times, and my dad left my mom for her best friend, and then he was like trying to make us like her, and then I finally had a boyfriend, and my parents broke me up with him, and then I had another boyfriend that broke me up with him. I'm like, y'all can be in love, but I can't. Like, how does this work? And so I just kind of took it up a notch each time, and they broke me up with my boyfriends, and I started dating my dad's employee, and then
I need a drink. Watch this.
Yeah, so just saying, I was kind of bad because I was very angry, and then by the time I was 21, I had a baby, and I was so desperate for love that I totally did things the wrong way.
Right.
That's why I'm a good matchmaker, because
you know right and wrong.
I've done it. I've lived it. I've done it.
She wrote the book on
I wrote the book
on
how to not let your kitty betray you, because it will. And that's the thing women need to understand today, that love and lust look so much alike, but we literally release a chemical that it makes us attached to a man every time we have sex with him. So even though we physically can have sex casually, it goes against so in your 20s and 30s, you're pulling them hard. I mean, you can pull them, you can turn them down, hit them off with, bat them off. But when you get in your 40s, you're more, you know who you are. Plus, your 40s, men date younger typically. So it's harder. It just becomes harder. So while you're, super hot and super sexy and you're pulling guys and playing and do whatever you want in your 20s and 30s, when you get in your 40s, you're going to look back at all those casual relationships, and even if you didn't want them, it's going to reverse psychology of your mind. You're like, dang, I'm still single in my 40s because I wasted so much time in my 20s and 30s when I could pull more of the guy that I want. As you get older, it just becomes harder. I mean, in my 40s, I could be a gold digger if I date Hugh Hefner. I mean, what are the choices here? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not about being a gold digger. I mean, I'm just kidding with that. But, or in my 20s, but that was another story. But, it's just really about getting real with yourself. Quit believing your own BS. Quit believing your own lies. Quit believing the stuff you're feeding yourself, because if you don't stop, you're going to stay in a toxic relationship. You're never going to heal from that. Okay, so we're just let me go back to my notes. I had lost my little notes here. Okay, here we go. Number 5, you feel the need to take care of your partner, and when you stop, they leave. That's brutal. That is brutal. And I think that's what kind of trapped me up in my situation with my narcissist, was I felt sorry for him. And because he was dealing with so many other things outside of just the obvious. He had other issues he was dealing with. And that's one thing. We've got to stop shaming people that are dealing with mental health.
True. Yeah.
We've got to make that okay.
Right.
It's got to be the norm to talk about it. And we ain't building a boo no more.
I think we need to just stop shaming people in general,
especially
not just
women.
with mental health,
Yes.
because there's so many. We're all dealing with some crap behind the scenes.
Everybody.
And there's so much. It's awful what I see. I mean, just literally on social media alone. And
Seriously.
stuff.
It's so toxic on social media,
Yes.
especially lately. It's crazy madness. People are just very rude.
Well, here's one thing that helped me find love again, was you're not clear on when you stop. You're not clear on the type of relationship you want, so you settle. Now, let me tell you all a quick story. So about 3 weeks ago, I met with this chick. She wanted to hire me for a matchmaker. We literally talked for 2 hours. I energetically had her cut all of her past connections energetically, cut it and mentally prepare. I'm like, listen, love songs. Prepare your closet, prepare room for this new man. I literally got her mind ready to receive. True story, the next day, she didn't hire me for a matchmaker. The next day she called me, oh my God, I met my millionaire.
Oh, God.
Swear.
What?
Wait, what was the turnaround? Was he already in the pipeline?
No.
I'm trying to understand it. Was he there, existing? Did he knock on the door?
They met. They literally met at something the next day.
He was a millionaire?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's not
Now,
real.
that's a bonus, but the point is she did find love. That's the crazy part,
amazing.
So she wouldn't have took anything less than a millionaire? I'm just curious. I'm asking.
she met with the millionaire matchmaker, so.
That was it. That was one.
My date coaching comes with a perk. I'm just saying, my date coaching comes with a perk sometimes. No, but that's because when people come to me and they pay what they pay to have a matchmaker, they want a successful person, and it's usually not a gold. It's never like a gold digger situation. They already are successful too, and they want to be taken serious, and they just don't have time to date and waste their time. And they don't want to be used either.
Exactly.
So the more successful you are, you hear very beautiful, successful women all the time talking about, I can't meet somebody, I can't find somebody. Because the more successful you are, that goes against a man's basic blueprint. They need to be needed.
Exactly.
So we have to be careful. If we want a man, we don't want to say I don't need one. We want to say I do want one. It's just for different reasons. It's not money anymore.
It isn't.
And it is literally energetically cutting cords with your past and being ready to receive. And that's what I was going to say for myself. The thing was deep down, this is so cool. God has been so amazing. Deep down, even though I left my narcissist abuser, I healed. I did all that. I, reinvented myself and created my business and all this stuff. Very similar to your story. One thing I had to really, when I met somebody new, I had to gut check myself because I don't want to hurt them. And I'm like, God, I need you to reveal to me if there's any part of me, because of that trauma bond, that still hopes my ex will get better and be great again. That trauma bond is still kind of there, and it's been 2 years, so it takes a long time. And you got to be patient with yourself. And I was like praying, I'm like, is there any part of me that really hopes he'll show up as the knight in shining armor? And because I wasted 3 years, so it's kind of like there's part of you that hopes he will.
Yeah.
And literally the next day he called me. I hadn't heard from him in 2 years. And
you put that energy out there.
I did. That's my point I'm trying to make, is the energy is so powerful. And he literally called me the next day, and he said all the things I wanted him to say. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this, I'm doing everything. His life is great. Boom, 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 boom. He, did great. And it was like, no. Like I don't want the roller coaster anymore.
Yeah, right.
Because while it's great now, history repeats itself, and history shows he only stays great for a while.
Right.
And if they abuse you once, they will do it again. So even though he's got some other areas of his life cleaned up, that main part, it will never change. That's how he is. Right. So, and then as soon as that happened, then I proceeded with my new relationship, and it's been amazing. So
nice. What's that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
We want to hear about that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
You don't?
Yes, yeah, for sure. So let's just get through these last ones, and then we're going to talk about that because we have about, just a few minutes before we take a break. Number 7, but just don't settle. Oh, this is what I say. Just don't, when I wasn't dating, and I wouldn't no longer accept casual sex.
Yeah.
I no longer would, but I used to. I used to think that was a fix for me. Like, it was like my language of love is touch.
Right.
And then I got to the point where, no, that's not going to be it. And I put it in the universe, and I demanded it. Even the guy I'm with now, I was like, I'm not doing casual.
Right.
That's where you set the boundaries. You cannot be scared to lose them. If you lose them, they're the wrong guy.
Yeah.
You got to put the boundaries.
Stop giving
you can't
yourself
be scared.
away.
That's right. That's right. People do what they want to do. People do what you let them.
See.
That's right.
I like that.
Okay, so the last 2 here is you feel unsafe within yourself, so your partner mirrors back your feelings of unsafety. And number 8, your inner masculine and feminine energies are not in harmony. And that's, a lot of people may not be really understand that. We'll save that for another show. But do some research on masculine and feminine energies, and really so you can kind of understand how you're operating, because as a woman in the workforce, we are in our masculine energy.
Yes.
100%.
You have to be.
But when you find your partner, you got to turn that crap off, okay, at the end of the day. So you got to learn how to be soft again. You got to learn how to be feminine. Mm-hmm. And that comes from, one of my friends, Nolan Davis, said it the best. He goes, because women that are powerful and they hear that word submission, like, am I going to submit to a man? They flip out. Here's the key, guys. In the beginning is when a man submits to you by showing you, I am consistent, I'm your protector, I'm your provider, I am that dude. Right. You can trust me. Then once you know it's all good, then you can relax and you can let him lead.
Right.
You can still let a man lead, but if you're going to follow a man, make sure he has a relationship with God, so he's accountable to someone other than you and his other head, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going about 5 minutes, so let's hear about the details.
We are doing a fundraising campaign
with
Brooke White Notary Services for the Safe Alliance. We're going to be raffling off $20 tickets for free travel, trip to Cabo with golf, trip to the Bahamas, a cruise, We also have a trip to Las Vegas. There's also even electronic devices, iPads, earpods. So it's going to be a great cause to raise money for, and so we need those financial contributions, and then you guys get to win something really, really cool.
Yes.
The travel certificates are redeemable up to 2 years if you win, so not to fret with the pandemic and the traveling situation going on right now. And Brooke, let people know where they can find you.
I am on Facebook, of course, Brooke White, and it's under Brooke White Loan Signing Services. Yeah, I think that's what it's under. My website's under progress, so that's not up yet. But so you can find me there, and then you can message me on my notary one. I don't have Messenger, so there is the Messenger on that one.
Okay.
But yes, if you have any questions regarding Safe Alliance or even a notary, just call me and let me know. But I'm really excited about this with Safe. They're just a great thing. They help women, children, men. I mean, they just help everyone that needs it. So it's a good cause.
Keep people safe.
Yes, and if you don't have somewhere to go, they will find somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, we sure appreciate you coming on today and being. It takes a bravery to talk about it. You know what I mean?
It's taken years, but
it does. It really does, and I think that you're a beautiful soul, and I think you're gonna manifest anything you want at this point.
Well, that's my
plan. You're on fire, girl.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, and we enjoy spotlighting you today on Women's Wednesday because you are truly phenomenal, and we're super excited to know you and be part of this.
You.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think y'all are awesome women. So
Thank What do we have coming up, Nicole?
So coming up, Jessica Hatch. So y'all don't go anywhere. She is a rock star. I can't wait to have her today.
Yes.
Good stuff.
All right, you guys are listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. Give us 2 minutes and we'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
This is former Rocket Robert Reed.
This is Mel Hewitt of Athletes United.
And we want to talk to you of our new program and podcast. We're talking about former athletes who are doing a lot of things in the community.
Various athletes in various sports. Swimming, track, soccer, football, baseball, you name it.
Former and current athletes here in the greater Houston area.
All promoting wellness, health. All promoting that which makes us all better.
Of Edge Radio, truth still matters.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
各位观众 ，Edge Radio 是大家最好听的一个电台，不要忘记听哦。Yeah, I love radio. You can hear all about the topic and join us soon.
Edge is about being on the edge and not jumping. Yes.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. Been feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters. want to introduce to you a gentleman that I've come to know and really appreciate, Dr. Raul Rodriguez from Rodriguez Rejuvenation. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Well, I started my career as in cosmetic surgery and aesthetic medicine over 20 years ago. And I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done. And I was fortunate enough to be featured on ABC News 2020 back in 2003 with Barbara Walters doing the introduction. Could this be the answer to your
Barbara
dreams?
Walters and Hugh Downs, right?
yeah, absolutely. Back then, he ended up on the Give Me a Break segment with John Salza. But fortunately, we were the featured segment on 2020. So I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done on the area of aesthetics and rejuvenation as well. I realized many years ago that it took more than just a scalpel to make somebody look younger and feel younger. And I incorporated into my practice bioidentical hormone replacement, optimal nutrition, other things. I mean, what's the use in looking younger if you don't feel good?
Yes.
So a lot of what I do and integrate in my practice is not just designed to help you look younger, help you look more fresh, for women as well as men, but also to make you feel younger and ultimately even function younger, as we'll get into a little bit more with our segment.
With regard to men and erectile dysfunction, this has become very pervasive, and to my surprise, I'm hearing men in their 30s are having issues right now. Is that right?
Yes, it's true. And in my practice, I've had a 50-something-year-old father that brought his 26-year-old son in because he had different issues.
Wow.
With the issue of erectile dysfunction, and I would like to rephrase that and let's rename it as erectile functioning, the circulation gets poorer as we get older, everywhere in our body. You know, our circulation gets bad in our legs, circulation gets bad in our heart, and eventually you die of a heart attack.
Right.
Well, the same thing happens with erectile function in men. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not a psychological issue. It's an issue that simply has to do with the fact the circulation there is not as good as it was when you were 25 years old.
Yes.
But now we have technology to reverse some of those changes, some of that deterioration of circulation to help restore more normal blood flow and circulation to the area, even though it's 25 years down the road from when you used to be 25. The procedures that I'm talking about is a procedure that actually helps stimulate the formation of new blood vessels in the area, so it restores a more normal blood flow, more normal circulation, a more normal, healthier, younger function.
You have a procedure that you've revolutionized, and now in the industry there is an option. Tell us about what that process is and how it works.
That's called the Rod Rock procedure. Rod for Rodriguez and Rock, ROC, for restoration of circulation.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay?
Restoration of circulation.
Restoration
the
of
Rod
circulation.
Rock treatment.
The Rod Rock treatment. Now, essentially what I've done is combine different modalities that have been around for a long time, but combine them to get synergy in stimulating new blood flow, new blood vessel formation in the penis.
Yes.
And particularly in the part of the male organ that dilates with blood, called the corpora cavernosa. And that particular treatment involves using some instrumentation with
Welcome back to Matchmaker Hotline, 101.7 FM Pasadena, 1540 AM South Houston, Galveston. We have the hostess with the mostest, again, Amber Neal. Nicole Giddens here, our lifestyle expert, Amber Mezzarano. And our special guest for the second half today is Jessica Hatch. She has a charity called Hatching for Health that's absolutely amazing. She endured something as a child that drove her to have a passion to provide financial contributions to help children that endured something that she has very special to her heart. And she is also a multifaceted businesswoman, rock star.
Yes.
Love it. 4 different businesses.
Nice.
So yeah, and
Love it.
she has her own TV show too. So what else do you do? What don't you do?
Oh my gosh,
no.
no, it's like talking about having a team around you. It's like it takes
so many people to like really, you want to say that the success is yours, but it takes so many people to kind of, make all of the things happen, you have the idea, but kind of finding the right people to align yourself with that you can trust and, that you can really grow with is, I think, a big part of it, altogether. So thank you guys for having me on the show, by the way.
Yeah,
absolutely. You guys
so glad you
are doing great, amazing things, and I think taking the opportunity to kind of, empower women, through you guys' voices is really awesome.
So if you were going to make a priority list for your compassion and your passion right now in your life, what would be number one for you?
Yeah, that's something I need to do. It would be the Hatching for Health Foundation, which is basically, brought to a lot of people's attention through the show. I think, our goal is to film every week and bring a child on with their parent or parents and kind of talk about when they were diagnosed and, kind of the whole, process of what they've gone through, really, to help create awareness. But, if we could film every day, I would. If we had enough people that were trying to tell their story and I guess really needed the help, as a whole, and as it relates to the healthcare industry, then I would do just that, So it's just a matter of, time where we can, find enough people that want to, kind of be heard.
And you're having a casting call right now for your TV show as well.
Absolutely. We are. So we have, again, every week, whatever child that we film with, it airs Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And am I looking at all y'all? I want to know.
I know.
I'm like,
You're good.
I want to make sure. So, basically, again, it's kind of like at this point, it's always an open casting call. And that's a matter of them reaching out to, Grace, via our email, our Hatching for Health email. And once they reach out, we get on the phone with them. We kind of talk through, what their child was born with, what the diagnosis is, and kind of learn their story. And again, make sure they're going to be comfortable on a live set, because we do film. It's like they're on a talk show, so we want to make sure there's no fright there, and they're also comfortable like letting whoever it is hear. It could be local or it could be somebody international that happens to see and hear their story.
You had a surgical procedure when you were a child, and what happened?
Yeah, so I actually had this particular surgery more as an adult, but it's really something that you're born with, and you just don't know until it comes time to want to conceive and have children. But basically, I was diagnosed with a septate uterus, and so there's several different ways that your uterus, I guess, can grow, and it be considered kind of a I don't want to say deformity because it is something that you can fix, but it's more of a genetic disorder per se. And so just being born with that inside the uterus, I have it was a septum that had grown, so it was like extra tissue basically. And unfortunately, it's avascular. So each time I would get pregnant, it was attaching there, and there was no blood flow. And so it was basically I was miscarrying about 6 weeks, so 3 different times. So after the second time, I was, married to my ex-husband. We, we did, the due diligence to seek out, okay, what's going on? I'm getting pregnant, which is sometimes one of the hardest things for women with, all this infertility having to take place. I was like, so I got that figured out. Why am I miscarrying? And so I was going from doctor to doctor, and it was where I came across a doctor that was like, let's do an MRI, because there was a lot of ultrasounds being done. Wasn't really figuring it out. But that MRI actually, showed that septum was in fact there, and that we needed to remove it. So then it was kind of the hunt to find, the doctor that was comfortable, doing that surgery, because they're usually an OBGYN with a subspecialty and,
That's rare. Isn't that very rare?
It is,
okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of what, the whole who would have known what a rare situation. I mean, and it all boiled down to affecting me, to give life to a baby, a child. Yeah. So, that whole circumstance as a whole was hatching for health. I'm going to hatch into better health so that I can, have children. And then, the reality is there's a lot of children born that have situations that, you can either see, or they're internal that you can't see, and they, you wouldn't know it until certain symptoms start arising, and then they have to address those symptoms. And it's such a process for them, and if there's anybody that can jump on board and help them earlier on, rather than kind of navigating the system themselves, why not? And I think that's a lot of the goals for Hatching for Health is let's put your story out there. There's probably others going through the similar, situations, and you're not going to just on your own, you can only reach who you know through, your relationships. So the more we put it out there, the more awareness will be created because of it. The ultimate goal is to help find cures, right? If we can get enough people that can be provided the research, then, a cure, becomes about. So it's, kind of a mouthful, but it's kind of all evolved where it's like I had a rare situation, it's tied to children and hatching for health. The term comes from wanting a child to come into better health. And then
I do.
That is so cool.
I don't love the experience part of it for you, but I do love that as far as you bring an awareness to that situation in general.
50% of rare diseases are diagnosed inappropriately, right? They're not treated right, and that's part of your journey to help people get the right treatments that they need.
That is true. There's over 7,000 rare diseases right now, in the U.S. that have been identified, and that grows each and every day, I'm sure. But that was kind of the, I think 2019, stats. So there's so many out there, and so. Starting somewhere is really all we can do, and the more people that can be connected to opportunities like this, your viewers are not my viewers, so it's there's somebody going, oh my gosh, even with Vivian's little girl, I'm trying to have them be a part of the show. A lot of the COVID has prevented families from feeling comfortable, coming and joining us on set.
Yeah, because their immune systems are already compromised tremendously.
So with that said, we started doing video calls. So and it's done in a great way where I'm still on set, and this last one we had the child and her father, but we had the doctor do the Zoom call. So he came in, and it's just like they're there in person, like if you're watching it as a viewer. And so it's still, I think it gave a good message, and we'll do that with the family as well. If the family needs to be in the comfort of their own home, they'll call in, and then I'll have the doctor there with me to kind of talk through.
Nice. Whatever it takes, the show must go on. I mean, you have to continue on with your journey. Don't let all those obstacles get in your way. She mentioned Vivian. We have a good friend of ours that her daughter was born with a congenital heart disease.
Aww.
And basically Texas Children told her that their daughter was going to die, that they couldn't do anything for her. And Vivian wasn't going to have that.
Yeah.
And she was watching.
Not
What was
Vivian.
that talk? No, not our Vivian. We love you if you're watching. What show was it? Jimmy
Kimmel or Jimmy
Yeah, yeah. One of those shows, and his child had the same thing, and there was this one doctor, Dr. Han, that is out in California, and he fixes this particular type of
You're going to make me cry.
And she was watching the
that part of
show,
it.
and she found it, and I've got the chills everywhere.
Because that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like in that moment.
I got tissue.
Yeah. That's so crazy, because that's exactly what I try and say is that little boy or girl that comes on the show that openly talks about what's going on and their parent allows for that situation, because sometimes it's uncomfortable for them. But if they do that, and somebody sees it, her little girl is now getting to live
now
her
she's
life.
going to be able to live her life where before they said she didn't have much longer to live. So you want to talk about every day's like Disneyland. I mean, that little girl, she wanted her every day of her life to be lived to the fullest. Now she has a clothing line, Simply Span and all that, but there's so many people out there. We need to have her on the show. That are enduring.
What
things
parent
like
isn't
that.
going to do everything they can?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it might be a little hard and challenging, but the fact that they can get the word out there and actually have a different outcome, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
Amazing work you're doing.
It is. No, thank you. But that's, so she told me, she was like, the doctor's in California. And I was like, that video option, I was like, well, we'll bring you and your little girl on, and we'll get in touch with his office and get him on the screen for 10 minutes. I mean, that's all we need. So he can talk about exactly what he did for you, because the same way that she heard that, the doctor on another show, basically saved her little girl's life. So.
Yeah, I mean, you trust your medical professionals if they tell you that there's no hope and there's nothing left to do. I mean, gosh, shouldn't there just be like a team of people at these hospitals that are trying to find things that they can't do for other people? Wouldn't you think that they would want to?
Yeah.
But what happens when they're rare? You know what I mean? I mean, they're having to come out with all kinds of new things.
It's so true. And I think with, just as far as it relates to the insurance and what they cover and don't cover, but insurance has never heard of something. It's like, how are they expected to cover it, you know? And that's where a lot of these families get kind of stuck in the system because they know what they say, for example, they do know what they need to do next.
It's not
but
coded.
the insurance is like not, you know, going to pay for all of this, or
Right.
like some of the medications or the formulas and different things that they end up, you know, being told that they need. They're like, okay, great. You know, how do we get it? Like insurance won't cover it, really? You know, and so they have to go through a whole system of getting it covered through, you know, some other. And so that's, again, where Hatching for Health is like, you know, let us help along the way. Like plug us in then until we get the system figured out for you, and then it can be covered, you know, through the insurance company or the government. But until then, like, let's not hold up your child getting the care that they need.
So an additional tool to what is out there, like that's what you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, we're connecting people to create awareness for the families with hopes of finding cures, but the foundation was put in place so that, you know, funds raised go 100% to, you know, these children or to the doctors, you know, servicing them. Yeah.
That is amazing.
That
A parent
is.
should never have to pay. You know, I have a friend who recently diagnosed with cancer in 3 places in her body, and she has insurance, and she took the supplemental insurance, so she's going to get paid very well for the diagnosis and to help her while she goes through it. But here's the crazy part. It's just mind-blowing. Her... so she qualified to go to this study. There's a new study that they're using gold now to actually cure cancer.
Wow.
And the study, she qualified for the study, and the cost of the study is $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
And we're waiting right now to see if her insurance is going to pay it. So, I mean, that's just another, I get so offended.
Wait, what are you saying? $1 million for the study overall?
Mind-boggling, yeah.
Yeah, for her to do the study, it's $1 million. That her
in the world.
Oh,
they're
you
gonna,
wouldn't believe what they charge.
$1 million.
For intensive care, for the surgical procedures.
Hell,
when it's
just the
rare
booties
like
you wear.
that, it's just, it's nuts.
They charge you for the socks you have on.
So what if the majority of people aren't walking around with an extra $1 million? So you just don't do that?
Basically, they're going to see if her insurance will pay for it. And the guy she's working with from the insurance company is like, I've been able to successfully get other people approved for the study. He's like, hopefully you'll be able to too. If not, then she goes back to the traditional chemo and radiation and all those therapies as well. But it's so offensive that, like, as a parent, that's got to be the most. I don't even know, excruciating pain to have to go through. Like, hey, we have this possible cure, but if you don't have $1 million, then you know. So I think your work is so important.
There's a lot of stuff that like everything can be negotiated. I mean, we have to understand, like, these are medical professionals that, you know, went through obviously like a vigorous you know, education to get to where they're at, and like it's all respected. But there's also you know, you'd be surprised like what kind of discounts like they will make, you know, if you talk to the right person. And I've learned that through some of the children that we've tried to help. Yeah, because you know, they're gonna ask for, you know, A, but there's always gonna be a B, C, or, you know, and then sometimes there's even, you know, charitable money already set aside at some of these major, like, especially on the pediatric side with these children. And so, you know, it's always important to kind of like, you know, not just rely on that one option, or like, this is what it's gonna cost, you know, kind of figuring out a way to bring that down, or, you know, or maybe have obviously second opinions, or, you know, pretty common in rare situations. People are wanting to know by multiple people like exactly what's going on. You know, and they're getting a lot of those opinions.
Wow, you do such great work, and I know that as a businesswoman, we definitely want to, you know, transition into that conversation and spotlight you, because, you know, this is Women's Wednesday.
Absolutely.
So this is about, you know, successful, amazing women paying it forward and really reaching back and helping. You know, one of the things we want to talk about too specifically today is as an entrepreneur and a philanthropist and, you know, involved in the community, what are some advice that you can give to other women that are going, you know what, we're in quarantine, I've got all these great ideas, I've been thinking about writing this book or maybe doing this business. Being an entrepreneur is super hard. No one can ever mentally prepare you for that life.
You have to be patient.
You know.
But something she said is her team helps to play that big part. And that is a major aspect of leadership and building a business and your empire in general.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So there's, and of course with that comes like, money to have a team. So it's not like I have an idea, like I want you, and you,
Exactly.
It's like, it's for one, finding people that understand your vision and that, want to be a part of it. If it's, starting at one place and growing to another, sometimes that's where it has to go, right? I mean, from the beginning, there's people that wanted to make X and I could only pay them Y, and then eventually they grew with me to get to Y, or X. So, like it's things like that. I mean, I've been fortunate where, I do have the family support as far as like being there, not on the financial side, but just as far as being supportive. Like, my mom helps out a tremendous amount with like the med spa, and she also treats patients with certain facial treatments and massage therapy, and so she's kind of always my eyes when I'm not there, as a whole. But the diagnostic side is really where it's been, I don't want to say a struggle, but it's a difficult industry. You're dealing with patients' insurance. You're dealing with we also do personal injury, so we've got people coming in from being referred through car accident situations as well as workman's comp.
So the diagnostic part, what is that exactly entail? Is that what you're saying?
So it is. So we have Infinity Diagnostic Center and Pain Suite. So basically you've got an MRI machine, we have x-ray, and then we have a Pain Suite where we do spinal injections, joint injections, things like that. So Houston is our main hub. It's the Greenway Plaza, right by Lakewood Church. I always like to reference that because it's such
great
a
location.
A large,
It's a big landmark right there.
Former Compact Center. It's like everyone knows where that's at. So and then Beaumont, we open up in July. Now that it's July 1st, I can say this month is our other location, which additionally will do MRI, X-ray, and pain injections.
Wow, congratulations.
So we service a pretty large radius. I mean, as much as you would think that it's just maybe 10 to 15 miles. I mean, people drive quite far when their doctor recommends a certain facility because it all reverts to, okay, who is the radiologist reading your MRIs? If that's the preference, then your doctor might send you a little further. Same with the pain management. When you're getting a spinal injection, if your doctor refers you out for that, then they're again going to trust a certain doctor. So maybe it's traveling a little further. So we service patients all the way out to Pearland, Sugar Land, really like a very large corridor. Beaumont is going to be a little more specific. We might hit Channelview. There's some areas, but we do our best to obviously earn the business for many surrounding cities that we can. But right now, I mean, predominantly I'm bringing the business, but kind of managing it on the inside too. And that's where I've recently found somebody that's been extremely helpful, and hopefully things will continue to work out with them where they can manage both Beaumont and Houston.
Nice.
So I can bring business, because believe it or not, the less I'm there, the better off we are, because I'm in front of doctors and meeting with them.
Absolutely.
And, I'm just really hands-on with that. I mean, I've had marketers, and I still do have some that go out there, but it's really hard to just find committed people that really value
But you're the face of it. You're the face of it. You know it like the back of your hand. So you being out there and in front of everybody is so much more helpful than a marketer going out there, because I mean, you're a personable person. You can talk and you can relate to, and they see your face and they see how genuinely
people.
I'm sure you can just stand there. You might not even have to say anything at this point.
Looking at it.
You are so kind here.
Not so bad.
And then she starts saying things that are intelligent, and they're like,
what?
What modalities do your med spas offer?
So on the med spa side, we offer any type of injectable, really. My injector is fabulous, from complete jaw lines to what we call liquid nose jobs. Just the littlest things people are bothered by, that don't want to maybe go under the knife to fix, but also just like lip filler, Botox. Then we do have the M-Sculpt, which is a really exciting machine that helps to build muscle in like a 30-minute increment of time.
Nice.
On major muscle groups.
It'll make my butt bigger?
It does, yeah.
Let's do it.
You put 2 paddles.
It's important to have a round behind.
There's 2 paddles, one that goes on each cheek, and it basically it's just sitting there stimulating the muscle, It's, a very intense machine, like for what it's capable of. So we have that. We also do hydrofacials. And we
love
have
those.
I know, those are just, they're everything.
We need to bring her back and do something on air live. Like that would be
really. So these hydrofacials, you get done and like she brings out like basically the plastic cylinder that everything she's kind of sucked off of your face goes into, and she's like, look at what's on
Those are amazing. It scrapes and then infuses. So it like exfoliates and then infuses different serums into your face. Your face looks so
it does. Looks
Yeah, it does. It's an incredible thing to have. I love it. And so we do that, and then also microneedling and other facial type procedures. And then we have a Sculpt Pod machine, which is basically a machine you put on like this cream all over you that has it has a tingling effect, and then you get into the machine that has an infrared light and a vibration technique, and it's breaking down fat cells and just kind of moving them through your body to basically be washed out. So we encourage like a lot of water drinking before and after, and people keep coming back for that machine. It's pretty interesting. It's a low cost, but the volume of doing it drives your results, and it really does work. And then we have also an ozone oxygen machine that you sit in for 30 minutes. That's kind of helping with, just replenishing your, cells and helping for detoxification. So that's our setup right now. And, there's always new things, people coming by, reps to, promote different products on the system. So we try and, like, Inscope was a big thing for us to encompass that, because it's mostly in plastic surgeon offices, and so to be able to have that as a freestanding med spa was
that
great.
infrared light is amazing. It penetrates 2 inches deep underneath your skin, sets a vibration to your fat cells, and squeezes out lipids and toxins that your fat cells cannot get out through normal sweating.
Okay, so that's
or
a way
water
better
hydration.
explanation.
I love it. Wow, you have the infrared. And then the vibration stimulates your lymphatic system, so you're completely detoxifying. And I'm sure that your topical cream will open up the capillaries.
Yeah.
And so you're like. I'm with Tom there.
I gotta ask you guys a question.
And combined, so and my mother, she'll do a massage. I say mother because she's our masseuse, but she does the massages and she brings them right to the pod, and she's like, get in, because she does lymphatic drainage, even specifically that, but even massages in general, like there's so much of your lymphatic system or lactic acid that's being broken down, and so then you get in that with the infrared light, and then you drink a lot of water after, and you're just kind of
gonna have to do it,
peeing out like everything. So it's
where do I
really
sign up?
It's
I love this. That is so awesome.
So with what's going on with the COVID and all that, like how has it impacted your business?
I know it was so diagnostic has been good because it's essential business and we've not had to close. Of course, we have more patients hesitant to come in to get their MRIs done, but we've been, we've managed to stay open and keep at some points more of a skeleton staff. But now, we're back to having our full staff, even though there's another, I guess, kind of release of the, increased cases. Again, is kind of alerting and alarming more people. The med spa we did have to, pretty much shut down for a period of time because it is elective things that you're doing. And right now we're also kind of getting mixed messages. It's like, can we open? Or can we not? We can't do massages. We can't. There's just restrictions around things that we can and can't do. But the med spa in Houston is on our second floor, so. Like I said, we're open downstairs for MRI. So when there's things that we can accommodate, patients are comfortable, they wear a mask, our injector or therapist wears a mask, then we do proceed with those patients. It's just not, I guess, to the average masses that we would that we would be servicing.
Okay. Yes, I need some too. Because my friend, she was like, you need to get Botox when you're in your 20s. She's like, you need to get it young, so like at 6. Because I have to get it every year.
Your line's not that deep. I can take that right
now.
Never
had Botox? Never. That's all you have going?
I know. That's what
you're good. So it's like, okay, so how you have that little line there? You would actually probably benefit from a slight bit of filler, and then it wouldn't really come back because the Botox will kind of freeze it. But I had a line, I played softball growing up, and I was just in the sun squinting like crazy. So at a young age, I had a deep line right here, and then I don't know. I've never had to refill it. I filled it once years ago, and I've never had a it's a tad bit of filler that somebody would normally put in their lips, to try and increase volume in their cheek. But it's just a sliver, and men will get a strong line there. Yours isn't that deep, but it is. another option instead of like Botox that
So
you know
you
you
have
do
to go
have to
back over
redo
and
like
over.
you know
Yeah.
in another like 7 or 5 to 6 months.
I'm ready to try something. I mean, I feel like I'm ready to try something now.
I need to
you
Well,
know?
your face looks good. I'm surprised you haven't had any work. All that.
That's why I
I know.
You know what I mean? I know
That's why I stay fluffy, so you can't see the wrinkles. Okay, we got to take a quick break, you guys. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes here on the Edge Radio Matchmaker Hotline, 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal, with my co-hosts, Nicole and Amber, and we'll be right back in about 2 minutes.
Stay tuned.
Edge Radio Network, where we have conscious conversation.
Edge is about love, relationships, and healing.
Edge Radio is for everyone and about everyone.
Edge is about working together.
Edge Radio is about recreating a beautiful body.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
Edge is about being kind, compassionate, and loving to all.
And Edge Radio is about beauty and fashion.
各位观众 ，Edge Radio 是大家最好听的一个电台，不要忘记听哦。Yeah, I love radio. You can hear all about the topic and join us soon.
Edge is about being on the edge and not jumping. Yes.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. Been feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
I want to introduce to you a gentleman that I've come to know and really appreciate, Dr. Raul Rodriguez from Rodriguez Rejuvenation. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Well, I started in my career as in cosmetic surgery and aesthetic medicine over 20 years ago. And I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done. And I was fortunate enough to be featured on ABC News 2020 back in 2003 with Barbara Walters doing the introduction. Could this be the answer to your
Barbara
dreams?
Walters and Hugh Downs, right?
yeah, absolutely. Back then, he
That's
wanted
great.
up on the Give Me a Break segment with
Yes.
John Salza. But fortunately, we were the featured segment on 2020. So I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done on the area of aesthetics and rejuvenation as well. I realized many years ago that it took more than just a scalpel to make somebody look younger and feel younger. And I incorporated into my practice bioidentical hormone replacement, optimal nutrition, other things. I mean, what's the use in looking younger if you don't feel good?
Yes,
okay?
yes.
So a lot of what I do and integrate in my practice is not just designed to help you look younger, help you look more fresh for women as well as men, but also to make you feel younger and ultimately even function younger, as we'll get into a little bit more with our segment.
With regard to
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only gentleman? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker, Amber.
Hey, welcome back. Matchmaker Hotline, 101.7 FM Pasadena, 1540 AM South Houston, Galveston. We are with the hostess with the mostest, Amber Neal, health and fitness expert Nicole Giddens here, and our lifestyle expert Amber Mezzarano.
Yay!
Special guest today is Jessica Hatch, and we've just been tugging on some heartstrings
Yes.
for sure, and talking about some entrepreneurship with Jessica. She's an amazing individual. She's got a lot of things underneath her belt, and so let's continue to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you had some questions, Amber.
You know, so I'm going to go back. You're talking about pulling on the heartstrings and stuff. And so I know you're passionate about what you do, because for you to tear up the way you did and stuff, it just shows your passion, which makes it even more, you want to get involved.
Yeah, you
want
wanna help.
people. It's because you find a lot of people that just do things and they
Yeah.
don't have the passion that they need and stuff. So I admire that, definitely.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you, because we were talking about your med spas and the diagnostic stuff. In regards to that, for someone out there that is, we're in COVID, we have a lot going on right now, but they want to start a business. They want to get in. How did you get involved in it? Did you have the support financially, or did you have to kind of build your way up slowly but surely in order to get to where you are, because you are very successful right now, which is very admirable to women out there.
Thank you. Yeah, so it was, on my own as it relates to the financial aspect. It was, figuring it out, the roadmap all the way. I think I started out just getting a DBA, like a doing business as, right? So there was no LLC behind it with a, tax ID, anything. And that
low
was
cost,
where I started.
so.
Yeah, I mean, so
Nice.
that is always an option if you want to brand, yourself and, have a name to call your own. I mean, getting a DBA, it is like, local to that particular county. But that is always an option. And that is where I think the first company I started was it was OC Recruiting Services. And at the time, my husband was Orlando. He really wasn't doing anything, but I wanted him to feel a part of it. So I was like, we're going to call it OC Recruiting Services. And I was recruiting, doctors and mid-levels for various practices that kind of didn't need full-time, but they wanted like that kind of temp, position, or PM&R, they, might call it. So I started doing that, and I guess as it relates to the first business on my own.
Yeah.
But that is, like a simple avenue as far as just getting started with a company name and wanting to have like, business cards and
Just to get started.
Correct,
Just to get,
yeah.
that's perfect. Just to get rolling.
So, but if you're going, and you can open a bank account with that DBA. You don't have to have all the articles of incorporation and, the tax ID information. But now if you are, wanting to go the full-fledged, then basically opening a company through the Secretary of State is not a very difficult process, and there's a lot of attorneys that will do it for you for a very small fee. I mean, the hard cost is actually $300 if you do know how to do it.
Like an LLC or
an
something.
LLC,
Yes.
correct? Yeah, and so you search, make sure the company name is available and that sort. And then once it's once you've submitted it, within 2 days you have what we call articles of incorporation. You've got these few documents that you will need when you open the bank account. But before you can do that, you have to get a tax ID.
Employer identification number.
Yeah,
EIN.
exactly. EIN, sorry. Tax ID.
No, you got it. I knew.
Yeah, tax ID is for the doctors and when you're billing medical insurance. Yeah. So you need an EIN, and that's employer identification number, and so that is something that you can apply for online. Again, once you've done it once, it's very simple, but until that, just hiring an attorney for a reasonable amount. I actually have a great one who I have to give you all information for. He's amazing. He'll review contracts for like $99. He'll do the the most complex things that someone would charge so much for.
Okay, so you're gonna have to share that with our viewers, because anywhere we can save these days is awesome.
No, give us his contact. We'll use him first, then we'll spread the love.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wait.
You're like, go through us, and then so we'll increase the fee.
We'll hook you up. $150.
But it's pretty impressive. He's extremely helpful. I mean, I use him a lot too, which is great. So, but anyhow, again, you get the EIN, you take those documents, and you can open up a bank account. And that makes you whole as it relates to filing taxes. If you want to employ people, whether it's a W-2 or just a 1099 contractor. But I think that's like just kind of like the very specific things. But as it relates to just starting, because you can get started and kind of open the company, moments later. You don't have to like have all your ducks in a row.
I got to touch on that, because I found myself when I was younger that I needed to have every piece of it in place before I even opened it up. And just getting going and opening up the DBA, just now I've learned.
Yeah.
Now that I'm
build that momentum.
Yes, you build it up, you do it. That you don't have to have every piece into place right then. You just got to keep moving.
Exactly.
So the DBA is just the starting point, and then you can incorporate, and you can do all
go
those
back, and take that same name. You might want to search and make sure that DBA name is also available as an LLC, so that if you do say, you want to keep your, your brand the same.
Absolutely.
Just make sure it's available. And literally, you can call me and I'll search it for you. That's $1 on the Secretary of State website. So don't let anybody charge you for that. But
and they will. They will.
Yeah. So that is something very, very simple. But you're right. Just get the DBA if you want to, present yourself as a company name. But I've put the cart before the horse, like again and again and again. I never do things in the typical order. I have an idea and I run with it.
Yep.
And I find myself doing that a lot. I mean, yeah, there's some hiccups in the road, could have gone more smoothly at times.
But that's how you've learned.
Yeah, but you learn from those mistakes, and then it helps you on the the next go of it. And I also, something that I brought up yesterday, it's like, I know people love having this like grand old idea, but sometimes not reinventing the wheel is okay.
Absolutely.
Taking from what you've learned from people along the way is, I consistently do that. I mean, I have some people were a boss, some people were just a mentor or a leader, and I just take bits and pieces and I put together, something that, reality is it's not mine. I mean, there's a million imaging centers and med spas, of course. The Hatching for Health, I mean, talk show's a talk show. Like, again, there's some people just think that they just have to have like some magical,
the newest idea,
and like it's really okay to kind of just do something the same from what create your own little tweaks and stuff to it.
Per your personality.
Correct.
Each one.
I do think, with that said, not stepping on people's toes along the way or disrespecting where you got that guidance and direction.
Big.
Because even for me, the first company LLC-wise I created in 2012, Infinity Diagnostics LLC, I was working for an employer at the time, and I told him what I wanted to do, and he had put me in a contract position, which made me what we call like independent.
All of a sudden you're signing a non-compete.
Yeah, so there was like, hey, I mean, this is, a lot of times that comes with a non-compete because they know that you have, that freedom. But I came to him and I was like, look, I want to create this company. I'm actually going to do what you're going to do, but I'm not going to go to any of your same facilities. I'm going to, keep it separate. And I did just that, and he respected it, appreciated it. I work with him to this day. Like, I now send him business at locations that I don't have coverage for.
He probably respected it more because you came to him and you weren't shady behind and everything.
Who's going to tell her no?
Right. It's your story here. Like, literally.
No, but I feel like it's so common for people.
They probably didn't even hear what she said.
He's like, you want to do that? You can take my business, take my clients.
It's okay. You can have it.
Do you want my company? Stop. I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. He is a difficult businessman. I love it.
So if you could say the don'ts to do when you brand yourself, what would you say not to do? What's the worst things that you can do when you're building a brand?
So I guess probably on that end is, is kind of, keep to yourself on what you're doing until you're fully comfortable with what your business model looks like, just so you're not sending like mixed messages, because, I mean, with me, it's very complex. Like, if I were to sit here with you guys like 3 years ago, people would probably be so confused because it is different brands, that I encompass, and, people slowly get to know what all I'm doing and understand it. But, if you're starting something new, from the ground up, no one really knows, like, then just make sure you have clarity in what it is that you're going to do. Have that messaging clear, whether the back end is together or not, just, kind of on the direction you're going. And I think it's important. I think social media obviously is huge these days. So if the business, can be tied to enlightening others through social media, same thing, get that solid logo together, have all of that presented, together rather than jumping around on that idea, or message.
But not only that, people will, you put it out there prematurely and stuff. People will take your idea and they will, not that they can't, they're going to do it the same way you are because you bring your life experiences and everything else, but they will take it and try to run with it themselves. So,
and that's a great point. So you almost shoot yourself in the foot, by speaking too soon altogether. And even after the fact, they're still, can do just that unless you've gone as far as trademarking something. But a name is a name. They could then create a new name and copy the similar business.
That's one thing. I used my attorney when I created mine because the little things you don't know about, and you don't want to learn some of these the hard way, specifically like a trademark, because you automatically have the regional trademark. But what if somebody wants to do it in the next state or another country? Apply for your federal trademark. That is so important. Especially if you plan to do business on a global level. That was exciting. We just got our federal trademark. Yay! So excited about that. And then one of the things too I wanted to bring up about branding that I was thinking about was I was looking at this meme, and it was saying how the psychology of branding and how depending on what colors you choose to put out. So if you're using like yellow, it's a happy color. So you think of like McDonald's, or eco-friendly green, or creatives like purple. Different colors. So I think it's really important. There's so much psychology that goes into branding, but I think the hardest lesson for me was I would get so excited about something that was coming out, and I would speak on it too soon. And I would put it out there, and it gave people a chance to block it, or copy it, or take it. I think that's the hardest part, because we really judge others how we see ourselves. So I think that's why we get so shocked when people betray us and do things like that. So I think it's very careful that, like one thing you first said is finding people around you can trust. That is honestly, to me, the hardest part about being a business owner.
Do you think by bringing your mom on and the ones closest to you helped you with that a lot? I mean,
in certain, So and she's really kind of the only one. Like my other family members are in different industries, and it doesn't really make sense to cross, I guess, paths per se. I personally, outside of my mom, I mean, I feel like just kind of unless it's a family business that's just kind of generation after generation. I prefer at this point in life to have business dealings with more people that are either going to be a business partner, or an employee or contractor. Just because same with friends. I've gone into business a few times with friends. Unfortunately, none of them worked out. I've had 3 different companies with 3 different friends. And it's just sometimes it's just about the different efforts. What one person, like one of the situations was on me. I mean, it was a product line that we were doing, and she was the one that had all the resources to experiment with the products, get the packaging together, all that really. And I was really confidently was like, my doctors are going to buy this scar gel, this is, and so I invested the same amount of money with her, but really all her goal or her job was to do was to bring it to life, my money, but her expertise, and I would sell it, and I didn't. And so that was, fault of nothing but my own, just too much on my plate. And then other situations where, were not so much my fault, but rather just we're all doing our own thing, and okay, you're not devoting enough time, to this as I am. And then it becomes just uncomfortable situations, and the friendship goes out the door. And you're
Did it ruin them?
It did on one of them. The one that my bad, situation. She's my very best friend in the world in LA. So we've done other things together to kind of make up for it. Where it was more like, let me support your company. She has a skincare line. And so I just may support her a little more than than I would have at some point, because it's let me make up for that investment and time that you took. That unfortunately we didn't take off the ground the way I had planned for. But going back to, this is again people wanting to start their own thing, but I just want to touch on too, because I've been an employee of people, and I've an employer of employers, but I think it's important with if you are going to start something on your own, you're in a current position, giving 2 weeks notice, telling them why you're leaving, those kind of things, as a business owner, they drive me crazy when people walk out, when people stuff like that. And then additionally, if you are leaving to do something pretty much exactly the same thing you're doing for that employer because of money, ask the employer, can you match what I'm being offered? They're going to give me this, and this can you match it? Always go to them. If you're happy and it's just about the money, never just jump ship, because I've seen that. I always would go back from as I grew working for people, I'd always go back and give them the opportunity to can you increase my salary to what they're going to offer? Because you walk out too soon and you burn bridges.
You're speaking like a business owner. That's exactly from that perspective.
Well,
we're getting ready to close up the end of the show. So Jessica, tell everybody where they can find you. I mean, we've got about 7 places?
Yeah. Mostly I'm on the road. So as it relates to Hatching for Health, you can email me at jessicahatch@hatchingforhealth.org if you or a family wants to be on the show. But as far as the Instagram, it's Hatching for Health, just exactly like it sounds, it's spelled. And then my Instagram is Jessica Dawn Hatch. And as far as the 2 businesses, the med spa and the diagnostics facility, we are in the same office at 3310 Edlow Street in Houston, Texas. And the other locations, can be found very easily in the Woodlands and Beaumont. So.
Oh, in the Woodlands. That's
yeah, the Woodlands.
Nice. It's been so great having you on today. Thank you for coming on and just being so transparent and giving so much great advice too.
Yeah, thank you. And I got advice even on the show, but also when I was sitting over there listening when you had Brooke on. So thank you too.
Awesome.
You guys were,
it's all about the women today. We really are here to empower each other because there's so many groups that claim to, but we're really going to do it.
Yeah,
you know, it's about learning off of one another mainly. I mean,
yes,
we have so much.
You look so cute today. So Amber, let's give your contact information so we can get out of here.
You can contact me on A Masarana on all social media aspects or platforms. 713-319-7600. That is my cell phone number.
Brave girl. Okay.
Just kidding. Totally kidding.
976 talk. Okay.
You can find me on Facebook, Nicole Giddens, Instagram, Giddens Nicole, and I need voters to vote for me. I'm running for the cover of Health and Fitness Her.
Yes.
I had put it out on my social media, but the voting does not start until July 20th, so I took it down. I'll promote it a couple days before, but please vote for me because I want to be on the cover.
Sexy.
I got a little bit more working out to do.
Yes, you look
that's
great.
Okay.
Well, it's fun as usual with my co-host today. You know, and all of our guests today will receive complimentary gifts courtesy of Maridate.com. If you're single, if you need date coaching, or you want to be a guest on the show, hit me up at amberneal.com. We'll be glad to help you out with that. And, you know, I'm so excited because we're actually going to take a break from filming for a couple weeks. Due to the virus, we want to kind of be respectful and let everything kind of pass a little bit. We're going to be running reruns for the next 2 weeks. So if you didn't get a chance to see some of the shows, we're going to put these back in rotation. I think this has been a great show to put in that rotation too, right? We'll be back in studio on the 20th of July. We're going to kind of chill for a minute and let everything kind of maybe hopefully get a little bit better. And shout out to anybody dealing with anything hard right now. We want to be here for you. We want to be that resource. You guys are listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
I want to introduce to you a gentleman that I've come to know and really appreciate, Dr. Raul Rodriguez from Rodriguez Rejuvenation. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Well, I started my career as in cosmetic surgery and aesthetic medicine over 20 years ago. And I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done. And I was fortunate enough to be featured on ABC News 2020 back in 2003 with Barbara Walters doing the introduction. Could this be the answer to your
Barbara
dreams?
Walters and Hugh Downs, right?
yeah, absolutely. Back then, he wanted up on the Give Me a Break segment with John Salza. But fortunately, we were the featured segment on 2020. So I've always been an innovator in everything that I've done on the area of aesthetics and rejuvenation as well. I realized many years ago that it took more than just a scalpel to make somebody look younger and feel younger. Mm-hmm. And I incorporated into my practice bioidentical hormone replacement, optimal nutrition, other things. I mean, what's the use in looking younger if you don't feel good?
Yes,
okay? Yes. So a lot of what I do and integrate in my practice is not just designed to help you look younger, help you look more fresh, for women as well as men, but also to make you feel younger and ultimately even function younger, as we'll get into a little bit more with our segment.
With regard to men and erectile dysfunction, this has become very pervasive, and to my surprise, I'm hearing men in their 30s are having issues right now. Is that right?
Yes, it's true. And in my practice, I've had a 50-something-year-old father that brought his 26-year-old son in because he had different issues.
Wow.
With the issue of erectile dysfunction, and I would like to rephrase that and let's rename it as erectile functioning, the circulation gets poorer as we get older, everywhere in our body. You know, our circulation gets bad in our legs, circulation gets bad in our heart, and eventually you die of a heart attack.
Right.
Well, the same thing happens with erectile function in men. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not a psychological issue. It's an issue that simply has to do with the fact the circulation there is not as good as it was when you were 25 years old.
Yes, yes.
But now we have technology to reverse some of those changes, some of that deterioration of circulation to help restore more normal blood flow and circulation to the area, even though it's 25 years down the road from when it used to be 25. The procedures that I'm talking about is a procedure that actually helps stimulate the formation of new blood vessels in the area, so it restores a more normal blood flow, more normal circulation, a more normal, healthier, younger function.
You have a procedure that you've revolutionized, and now in the industry there is an option. Tell us about what that process is and how it works.
That's called the Rod Rock procedure. Rod for Rodriguez and Rock, ROC, for restoration of circulation.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
Restoration of circulation.
Restoration
the
of
Rod
circulation.
Rock treatment.
The Rod Rock treatment. Now, essentially what I've done is combine different modalities that have been around for a long time, but combine them to get synergy in stimulating new blood flow, new blood vessel formation in the penis.
Yes.
And particularly in the part of the male organ that dilates with blood, called the corpora cavernosa. And that particular treatment involves using some instrumentation with machines to deliver energy to the area, but also I combine that with stem cells. There's a lot of stuff in the news about stem cells and the capacity of stem cells to rejuvenate tissues, to heal things. And I take those different modalities and combine them in a 2-week protocol to actually get significant improvement in over 95% of the people that have the treatment.
Wow. And you're saying it's a process that's only about 2 weeks in length?
It's about 2 weeks. Right. Wow. It's 2 weeks. You come into the office, 3 times a week. It's 2 to 3 weeks. I can adjust it to the patient's schedule. 2 to 3 times a week for 2 consecutive weeks. Okay. And then after that, you may not have to have another session until a year, maybe 2 years down the road.
So, Dr. Rodriguez, we are just about out of time. Can you tell folks how they can connect to you?
RodriguezRejuvenation.com. RodriguezRejuvenation.com. And there on the website, you'll find lots of useful information. And then, of course, come in for a consultation as soon as you can, because everybody is different. There's no cookie cutter approach, and we customize a treatment protocol and treatment plans for what your particular problems are, your personality to some extent, your budget. So everything is customized.
Outstanding. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Dr. Raul Rodriguez of Rodriguez Rejuvenation.
When people stop talking to each other, society...
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get a